Alright everyone, this is the time to talk about another important chapter, and that is Plasmid Vector. So of course we are talking about the recombinant DNA technology, and we're talking about different kinds of vectors, and this time we're going to talk about Plasmid Vector. And under Plasmid Vector we are also going to talk about two important kind of vector, widely used plasmid vectors like pbr322 vector and puc19 vector. We'll also see why they are named like pbr322 or puc19 and what are their components. But before that, understand about the plasmid vector. Plasmid is a term that you must heard if you are from biotechnology background or microbiology background or any molecular biology biochemistry background. It's a very common term. Now why and what do you mean by plasmid vector? Basically plasmid vector is, what is a vector? A vector is a gene delivery system. A gene delivery system, a part of a gene delivery system. So basically when we do molecular cloning, the process of amplifying the number of a target gene, okay, so we need a target gene. We need the target gene to be amplified under a host. Let's say the host is E. coli bacteria. Fine. So E. coli bacteria is the host. The target gene is identified. Now the target gene needs to be inserted somewhere, who will go inside the host cell and can be participating in the process of amplification, which is the replication of the whole target gene, including the vehicle where we are inserting the target gene to be amplified. So the vehicle which is carrying our target gene for amplification is known as vector. Okay, that is the cloning vector. So there are two kinds of vector, cloning vector and expression vector. Cloning vector is the vector with which we can deliver the target gene inside the host cell, and it will grow inside the host cell in number. While in expression vector are those vector where the target gene can be transcribed and translated into the target protein. That's why we call it expression, gene expression. Okay, so this is plasmid vector is in this case a cloning vector. It can be a cloning vector, it can be an expression vector, but in this case we are talking about the cloning process. So the vector is a vehicle with which we are delivering our target DNA or target gene. So this plasmid vector is one of such kind of delivery vehicle for the target gene to be inserted. So for a vector, what we need is that a vector must have the capability of self-replicating. Capability of self-replication. It's very, very important. So plasmid, what is plasmid? It's a circular DNA self-replicating, a circular self-replicating DNA. So this plasmid circular self-replicating double-stranded DNA which is present inside the host cell, which can be transferred inside the host cell, and the host is a bacterial cell, let's say E. coli cell. So once the vector is inside the E. coli cell, it can grow in number. Okay, it can grow in number. And not only that, but there is a number of cells, number of vector, the number of plasmid can be present inside the host cell. That is known as a copy number. In some case it can be 50, 60, some case 200, some case 300, some case 600, some case 1000. So there are different copy numbers of a plasmid. Okay, the smaller the plasmid, the higher chance that it can be accommodated inside of the higher numbers it can be accommodated inside of the host cell. So for a vector, there are some properties needed to call a circular DNA or a linear DNA to be a vector. Okay, so what a vector should carry, it should carry a insert size. Insert means what? The target DNA. So it should have a capacity to carry a target DNA or DNA of our interest, that is insert. So it has an insert size limitation. Depending upon its own size, also it has an insert size limitation. So the bigger the plasmid is, the bigger the vector is, the higher the insert size can be. Okay, so plasmid vectors are smaller, so their insert size is also smaller. Similarly, there is a bigger vector, EAC, East Artificial Chromosome, is a bigger vector, linear vector, not circular, and it can carry bigger DNA stretch or gene of interest. Okay, and generally East Artificial Chromosome is used for cloning bigger eukaryotic genes, which are obviously lengthier in size. So in plasmid vector, what is the insert size? 5 to 25 kb. Okay, the insert size is clear that the insert size will be 5 kilobases to 25 kilobases at max. Depending upon the different kinds of plasmid vector, the insert size varies. For example, PUC, this is one example, PUC19 vector is a plasmid vector. Name plasmid vector is a type, and the example is PUC19. It has an insert size of 15 kilobases maximum. Okay, 15 kilobase per max. Now apart from the insert size, this plasmid vector, as I said, that is a self-replicating component. So it must have a origin of replication known as ORI. It must have that. And also, after we insert the target DNA, so we know that there are vectors and we cut the vector at a particular part and then we insert the target DNA. So for that we need to have a cut site. So we need to have a restriction endonuclease cut site, okay, which is known as multiple cloning site or polylinker, because if this cloning site is a place to cut the vector, but that place can be cut with multiple restriction endonuclease, then we call it multiple cloning site, or we call it polylinker region. Poly means again multiple. So polylinker multiple cloning site is a site which can be cleaved by multiple types of restriction endonuclease. It can be EcoR1, it can be BAMH1, it can be HindD3, different examples are out there. Okay, so a vector must contain origin of replication, the restriction endonuclease site, and obviously it has some insert size. And the last thing the vector must carry is something which helps us to distinguish between the vector that is containing our target DNA and a vector without the target DNA. See, what happens is that, let's say this is a vector, we cleave it with restriction endonuclease, vector is cleaved. Now our target DNA, let's say this zigzag one is inserted, and there's a possibility that the vector can self-ligate without having the target DNA. So there are these two kinds of plasmid now. This is a plasmid where you have a target DNA and the vector, we call it recombinant plasmid. And there is a plasmid we don't have any target DNA inserted. So this is a normal non-recombinant plasmid. Okay. So between recombinant plasmid and non-recombinant plasmid, how to differentiate and distinguish? To distinguish that, we need to have what is known as selectable marker. Selectable marker region. Okay, so marker region of the gene is a place which helps us to selectively choose the recombinant plasmid from the non-recombinant plasmid. Okay, so what are the components of the plasmid vector here? Origin of replication known as ORI, selectable marker, which is most of the case resistance genes, antibiotic resistance gene, for example tetracycline resistance gene, ampicillin resistant gene, and so on. Then there are multiple cloning sites, restriction digestion sites, and generally these multiple cloning sites are present within the selectable marker region most of the time. And there are promoter region. If we are talking about a vector which is used as an expression vector, then we need a promoter region. For a cloning vector, promoter region is not important, but for an expression vector, the promoter region is really important, with which we can do the transcription process. So this is one example. Let me erase all this color here. Erase all color, and let's see the pointer option. Okay, so what else we have? We have origin of replication. This is the first point. What else we have? We have the selectable marker region. Now the selectable marker, antibiotic resistance genes can be selectable marker, antibiotic resistance genes can be present apart from the selectable marker. Both of them can be present. It must have a restriction sites. Okay, restriction site, restriction endonuclease site known as polylinker region or known as multiple cloning site or MCS. And sometimes it has promoter. If the plasmid vector is used as the expression vector, then only we need promoter. So these are all components of a plasmid vector. This is one example of a plasmid vector known as PUC19. You can see that it has origin, it has a promoter. What else it has? It has LAC-Z and LAC-Y gene as well, which is used along with the multiple cloning site or MCS. So MCS or restriction endonuclease site is under, within the LAC-Z gene. And apart from that, it also has this restriction sites, that is EcoR1 site, and also ampicillin resistance site, which is selectable marker region, that is also present. So this is selectable marker, this is multiple cloning site, this is origin. These are the three important component of any vector, and promoter is also there because PUC19 can be used both as a cloning vector or as a expression vector. Now what are the advantages and disadvantages of this plasmid vector? The advantage is that it's a small and easy to handle. This vector is very small, so it's very easy to handle, easy to purify, and the selection process and screening process is less laborsome, easy to do. and useful for cloning very small DNA fragment. If our target DNA fragments or target gene of interest is very small, then plasmids are the way to go, because plasmids are by default self-replicating double-stranded circular DNA, and maintenance of the plasmid inside of the host cell is very easy because naturally the bacteria maintains it, and the copy number is also huge. 500-600 copy number is very common, like PUC19. What is the disadvantage? The only disadvantage is the insert size. The insert size cannot be more than I can write is cannot be more than 15 kb. I can write 15 kb, not 10, 15 kb. Okay, generally more than 10 kb length of the sequence, if you try to clone it, if you try to insert it and amplify it via molecular cloning using a plasmid, then it causes problem. It can cause problem in terms of recombinant plasmid formation. It can possess problem in terms of the maintenance of the plasmid inside the host cell, and the transformation efficiency can be compromised. Rather than that, rest of the things are quite easy like a breeze. That's why plasmids are widely used molecular cloning vehicles or molecular cloning vectors that we use for the molecular cloning process and expression, in case of expression as well. Okay, that's all about the plasmid vector and the example of plasmid vector used in molecular cloning. Two such example we'll talk about. We talk about pbr322, and we'll also talk about the second example, that is PUC19. Actually, this P is a small letter and the BR is in caps. Similarly, P in PUC19 in small, UC in caps. Okay, so we'll talk about the pbr322 and PUC19 vector, their details, why they are named like this, and what they carry. Is there any modification? What are their selective advantages and disadvantages compared to each other and compared over other vectors? We'll talk all about this in times to come. So if you like this video regarding the plasmid vector, please hit the like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to this channel to get more videos like that in future. Thank you. Bye.